Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Spider-Man reviews, where it's all Spider-Man all the goddamn time. And today we're taking a look at the brand new Mafex Spider-Man 2099. And to be honest with you, this is one of my most anticipated figures. I've been wanting a good Spider-Man 2099 ever since I was a kid. And we got a pretty good one from Mezco, but you can't really play with that one too much. Can't pose it around because of the soft goods, and the Marvel Legends ones are kind of whack. So I'm so excited about this figure. It's going to be so dope to have a good Miguel O'Hara that we could pose around and play with. So yes, I am hyped up, but let's go ahead and get into it, starting off with the packaging. Through the window, you are able to see the figure itself along with some of the accessories. Up here, we get this comic book style packaging from Mafex. I absolutely love it. We have an old school drawing of Spider-Man 2099 up there. Down here, we get a look at the figure. Over here, it says Spider-Man 2099, Marvel, Mafex, all that good stuff. On the side of the box, we get a look at the figure doing its thing, and then it says Spider-Man 2099. On the back, we get Miguel in a bunch of poses along with all the accessories that he comes with, or some of the accessories. Doesn't show the hands, but you know what I mean. And then on this side, we get another look at the figure. And that's about it for the packaging. It's collector friendly and all that good stuff, but enough about the pretty box. Let's go ahead and get this guy out and take a look. Ooh, okay, so here we have Spider-Man 2099 right out of the packaging. Hey, what do you call him? Spider-Man 2099 or Spider-Man 2099? I've called him Spider-Man 2099 ever since I was a little kid, so I'm going to continue to do that. But I notice a lot of people call him Spider-Man 2099, so I don't even know exactly what's right. Who gives a shit? All I know is this figure is freaking awesome. It's so great to finally have an amazing looking Spider-Man 2099 that's actually fun to play with, because I really love the Mezco version, but you know, there's always a level of stress involved because when you're playing with Mezco figures, you're always worried about like damaging the soft goods or whatever. Although the soft goods on that Spider-Man are pretty durable, so you know, it's fun to play with and stuff, but nowhere near as fun as this figure. And you know, Marvel Legends, which are typically pretty fun to play with, they've made a Spider-Man 2099 figure, but it's not very good at all. It's on the Pizza Spider-Man body, very outdated. For some reason, they re-released it like a couple of years ago. They should have just redone it. But anyways, hopefully they get to that eventually, because I think they could do a good job with it. But man, it's so cool to finally have an articulated, good-looking, fun to pose around Spider-Man 2099. I've wanted this for a very long time, so I'm very excited about this figure. And yeah, Mafex did an incredible job all the way around. It looks really good. The paintwork on him is so clean and crisp. There's not a whole lot of sculpting work, as you could imagine, but they did a good job with what they needed to, so I was really happy to see that. One thing I absolutely love about this figure is that the arm spikes are soft plastic, so you don't have to worry about those breaking on you. That's what I was worried about this when it was first announced. So I'm happy they made these spikes out of soft material. Yeah, you don't have to worry about them snapping whatsoever, so that's good stuff. And I like the way they handled the web cape thing that Spider-Man has. So he basically has like interchangeable back pieces with different size webs on them. So yeah, the way it works is you just basically pull this back piece off. It's kind of like Nightwing. If you have the Mafex Nightwing figure, it's very similar to that. You just pull the back piece off and then just clip that on there, and then you're good to go. And we get 3 different backs. We have the first one that we just looked at. We have this here, and then we have one more that's pretty cool because the third one actually has like 2 web capes on him. So boom, there we go. And yeah, this is cool. I like having these options with the different capes. And they're articulated so you can move them around and do whatever you need to do. The only problem this kind of presents is that when you're posing the figure around, like if you push his head all the way up, it could open that up a little bit, as you could see. But that's only if you're forcing it. For the most part, it stays in place nicely and it looks good. And then he does have like a couple of like arm flaps or web flaps right here for the arms. And these plug right into here. And we have a couple of different ones. We have these ones that I have in here currently. It's kind of hard to describe them. They're just kind of different sizes or whatever. But these ones here, you just plug right into the holes. And if you don't want these in there, the holes are pretty discreet. So, you know, you can just take them out. But yeah, as you can see, these ones are nice and small, close to the body. The ones that I had in there before are a little bigger, you know. So yeah, good stuff. I like the way they handled the web cape. He has a very unique design when it comes to this thing, and I noticed that it's always kind of a struggle to kind of figure out how to do it, but I think that Mafex did a really nice job with it. The fact that all the capes are articulated allows for some dynamic posing and movement, and kind of make it look like it's blowing in the wind or doing whatever. So yeah, they did a great job with the cape and everything. And just overall, it's a beautiful looking figure. I'm very happy with the way that he turned out. And like I said, man, I'm having so much fun posing this figure around. And I think they did some great detail work on Spider-Man 2099. All the paint on him is so crisp and clean and well applied. I didn't see any imperfections whatsoever with the paint. So that's really impressive. And as far as like sculpted details goes, there's not like a whole lot to sculpt. There's not a whole lot of details to actually put onto Spider-Man, but the areas that required sculpting, they actually did it and it looks really good. So yeah, man, I think they absolutely killed it with the look on this figure. Man, I freaking love Spider-Man 2099's costume design. I love how like the red sits on top of that dark blue and it just pops, It's very eye-catching and it looks amazing. And I think that Mafex did a great job of translating that into figure form. They absolutely killed it. But starting off with the mask here, I love how he has like the spider legs coming off of the eye holes and then the fangs in front. Oh man, that is so dope. And look how clean that is, man. Really good work. And then moving down to the torso here, we've got the Day of the Dead, Sugar Skull inspired spider logo on the chest. And that is amazing. That's such a dope way to represent his Mexican heritage. Awesome stuff. And yeah, like I said, like all this area is like sculpted, all these little details. It's not just painted on there. There's actually sculpting going on for the logo there. So that is so dope. They did some good work on the arms here. I love how the spikes are plastic. I think I mentioned that. But yeah, that's so cool that they're soft plastic. You don't have to worry about them breaking. Even the arrows on the hands are actually sculpted. They're not just painted on there. And then on the back, he does have the webs here. And as you can see, the webs have some details on them too. So that all looks good. I like the torn look that they have going on here. That's really dope. And then you could kind of see the details on the arm webs as well. It's got the same kind of like patterns and stuff as the back webs. And then I love the blues that they use too. It's not just like a solid dark blue. It has a lot of depth to it. And it just looks really nice, man. Such a great looking figure. They just executed this costume design perfectly, man. Like I said, I'm just such a big fan of his whole design. I think it looks amazing. And yeah, man, Mafex just kind of brought it to life in a really, really dope way. And I just love the way the figure looks. I'm very impressed with the paint work, the sculpting, just everything about it looks awesome to me. I do think that some people would probably wish that he was a little bit like more muscular, and I get that, but you know, I'm perfectly happy with the way this is as is, even though he's a little bit on the skinnier side. I still think it's very cool, and it's not inaccurate. He's definitely been shown to look more like this in the comics sometimes too. But in the '90s, everybody was fucking hella buff, so it is what it is. But man, I freaking love the way this figure looks. I think that Mafex did an amazing job through and through. He is awesome. And then taking a look at the accessories, starting off with the head sculpts, he does come with 3 different heads. This is the first one. It's basically just your standard, Spider-Man 2099 masked head. Like I said before, I think it looks really good. But I do like the alternate masked head just a little bit more. As you could see, it's pretty similar to the previous one. The only thing that's really different is the shape of the eyes. On this head sculpt, the way that his eyes are shaped kind of makes it look like he's a little bit more angry or something. So I do like that for this character. But yeah, I think both masked head sculpts look really nice. And then he does come with one half unmasked head. And I think this looks pretty good, but I do wish that, the facial expression was just a little bit more aggressive, I guess you could say. Just something more angry. It'd be cool if he had like fangs. This right here, I mean, he looks kind of angry. I guess it's angry enough, but, I'd want him, looking like a complete psychopath when he lifts up his mask like that. I think fangs would have gone a long way, but still, I do think this looks really good. And yeah, I think they did a great job with all 3 head sculpts. It would have been cool to get a fully unmasked Miguel O'Hara head sculpt as well, but I'm pretty happy that they included this right here, because I don't think they've done too many half masks in the Mafex line with their Spider-Man figures. So yeah, this is unique and it looks good. And then like most Mafex figures, he comes with a shitload of hands. So first off, we have a pair of fists, and then he has a set of like open clawed hands. And something I just noticed, on pretty much all the hands, he has like these clawed fingertips. It's kind of hard to see here on camera, but all the fingertips have like these little claw-like nails on them. So that's dope. That's really dope. That's a cool detail that they included. And then we have another set of open dramatic hands. And again, you could see those like fingernail claws on there. And then we get another set of open hands. And I'm not even sure how to describe these. It's some kind of weird gesturing open hand. But yeah, these look cool. And then we get a pair of open relaxed hands. And then a set of web gripping hands. And then we get a set of karate chop hands. And even these have those clawed fingertips. So yeah, that's awesome. And then he does come with magnetic hands and magnetic feet. And you know, like I just mentioned on my Mafex Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man review, the magnets on these Mafex figures aren't the strongest thing ever, but if you could get all 6 of them onto a surface, they could definitely magnetize to that surface without you having to worry about it falling off or anything like that. So yeah, I always like magnets on figures. Definitely a cool feature, especially when they work well. And then he does come with some spider webs, and these webs are very similar to the ones we've seen on pretty much all the other Mafex Spider-Man figures. And they look a little different here, actually. Maybe it's the color or the style or something. But he does have 2 of these smaller straight line webs, and then 2 of these longer straight line webs. And then he also has 2 of these like swinging webs. And, you know, like I've said before, I'm not a huge fan of these webs. I do wish that Mafex would get a little bit more creative with the style of webs that they give to Spider-Man figures. But aside from that, I'm very happy with all the accessories. I like all the hands and the different heads. Oh, a fully unmasked head would have been nice too. And maybe like an AI Lila to go along with them. That would be nice. But, you know, yeah, that stuff would have definitely been cool. But I'm pretty happy with what we have here. Alrighty, so now for some size comparisons. Here we have Spider-Man 2099 alongside the Mafex Black Suit Spider-Man and the Mafex Comic Book Classic Spider-Man. And I love the way these 3 look together. These are my 3 favorite Mafex Spider-Man figures. I think they killed it on all of these. But it's kind of funny, man. Seeing the Black Suit Spider-Man next to these 2 really makes me realize how big his head is. It's kind of... it's okay, though. I still think it looks good, but his head looks a little big, or maybe I just have it positioned weird. I don't know what the hell's going on, but when I put him down, I was like, man, he's got a big ass dome. But anyways, I love all 3 of these Spider-Man figures. And, you know, whenever I think of Spider-Man 2099, I think of like 90s comic book characters, like a little bit more muscular and just kind of bigger and dramatic. And I don't think this Mafex Spider-Man necessarily screams that, but that's okay because I think this style fits in line with the rest of the Mafex figures. I would like to see somebody make a more muscular, posable Spider-Man 2099. I think that's maybe where Marvel Legends could come in and kind of separate themselves from the other things out there. But as far as like a really dope 2099 Mafex Spider-Man, I think this one does the job perfectly. It looks really good next to the other Mafex Spider-Man figures. And then here we have Spidey 2099 alongside the Mafex Scarlet Spider and the Mafex Ben Reilly Spider-Man. And I think at this point, they've pretty much done all the most important versions of Spider-Man. What other versions would you guys like to see them do? The first 2 that come to mind right now are the Cyborg Spider-Man. I think that Mafex would do a great job with that. And then the Kane Scarlet Spider, the black and red one, I think that'd be really dope. I've always loved that costume. The Marvel Legends version is cool, but I think that Mafex would kill it. But yeah, I think they're doing a great job covering all the different versions of Spider-Man. Let me know in the comments if there's a version that you'd like to see that they haven't done so far. And then here we have my 3 favorite Spider-Man 2099 figures. We have the Mafex alongside the Mezco 112 collective version. And then over here, we have the SH Figure Arts Across the Spider-Verse movie version. And all 3 of these figures are great in their own way. I'm a big fan of the Spider-Verse version of Miguel O'Hara. I think they did a great job with the costume design. I love the way they added all this tech detail, but still kept the overall look of the comic book version. And yeah, I think they did a great job with it. And SH Figure Arts absolutely killed it on this figure. And I love the Mezco Spidey 2099. I think it looks amazing. I love the bright blue and the reds and the soft goods and the accessories. It's a really nice figure, but you know, it's not the most posable or anything like that because of the soft goods. And I'm always worried that I'm going to break these arm blades either while playing with it or I'm going to knock it down and snap those things. That actually happened on my Mezco Batman Beyond. He fell over and his arm blades broke, unfortunately. Thankfully, on the Mafex version, we don't have to worry about that because his blades are soft. So that was cool to see. But yeah, it's cool to have all these different versions of Spider-Man 2099. And then here we have them alongside the Marvel Legends Spider-Man 2099 and the Marvel Legends Maximum Spider-Man. The 2099 figure they did is on a very old body. That's the Pizza Spider-Man body. And, you know, it doesn't hold up very well, but I do like the shiny blue. I'd be down to buy a repaint of this Mafex version with that metallic blue color. I think that'd be awesome. And you know, with the Maximum Spider-Man, I'd be down for a Spidey 2099 on a body similar to this, if not the exact same thing. I just don't want to see them reuse the Maximum body too much, but I'm okay if they reuse it for Spider-Man characters. Even though Miguel O'Hara is different from Peter Parker, I could still live with it, and you know, whatever. But I think this body would work for Spider-Man 2099. And then here we have Spider-Man 2099 alongside my custom Marvel Legends style Vermin by the homie Nico Hodge. Shout out to Nico for killing it on this custom. One of my favorite things in my collection. This thing is awesome. On the opposite side, we have the Marvel Legends Jackal figure. And then here we have him alongside the Mezco 112 Collective Across the Spider-Verse Miles Morales and the Sentinel Into the Spider-Verse Miles Morales. I was really hoping that Sentinel would do a Spider-Man 2099. It's not too late. Hopefully they get to it eventually. I think they would absolutely kill it. And I do plan on doing a review for this Mezco Miles. I just need to get to it. And then next we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Renew Your Vows Spider-Man and the Marvel Legends Bucky Cap. Here he is alongside the Marvel Legends Agent Venom and the Marvel Legends X-Men 97 Wolverine. Dang, I didn't expect him to be so small next to the Mafex Daredevil and Mafex Captain America. I don't mind it. It just kind of caught me off guard. I didn't think that Daredevil would be that much bigger than him. Hey, but speaking of Daredevil, I think this Mafex Spidey 2099 is going to go just like Daredevil. Like, once people realize how crazy he is and what a good figure he is, I think that he's going to sell out everywhere. So if this is something you're interested in getting, I suggest jumping on it sooner rather than later, because otherwise you're going to be waiting for, you know, a re-release or something, just like with Daredevil. He's sold out everywhere at this point. So yeah, man, if you want this Spider-Man, I suggest you jump on it as soon as you can. Stepping away from Marvel, here we have him alongside the 1,000 Toy Synthetic Human. It would be dope to have a bunch of synthetic humans fighting this Spider-Man. That'd be awesome. On the opposite side, we have the Four Horsemen Mythic Legions, Sir Elijah. And then here we have him alongside the Jada Toys Street Fighter Guile and the Jada Toys Cyberpunks David Martinez. And then for the final and most important size comparison of all size comparisons, here we have the Mafex Spider-Man 2099 alongside my original character, Odious from Unparalleled Universe. This figure is available now if you're interested. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. On the opposite side, we have the King. This is the NECA, Mirage Comics, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Kirby, aka Jack Kirby. And Spider-Man 2099 has that same level of amazing articulation that we've come to expect from Mafex Spider-Man figures. The only thing to note here is that when you push the head or the shoulders too far back, it can cause some separation between the back piece and the front piece of the upper torso because of the interchangeable cape function. So you do want to be mindful of that when you're messing around with the head or the neck area or the shoulders. And you know, honestly, these joints all get good range before they get to the point where they're actually causing the separation. But you know, when you're playing around with the figure and you kind of push the head back and it's like, oh yeah, that moves pretty good, and you kind of keep on moving it, it applies pressure to that back piece and it can create a little gap between the front and the back. It may be hard to see right here because of the shadows and stuff, but yeah, you know, it's not really a big deal and it doesn't really hinder any articulation. It's just something that you could kind of forget when you're messing around with the figure. So if you're taking pictures and you're getting them into these extreme dynamic poses, make sure that the front upper torso and the back area hasn't been separated by, you know, you messing around with the figure. I just wanted to note that since it is affected by the articulation. But let's go ahead and see what we have going on here, starting off with the cape on the back. So the cape is on a little peg and hinge situation, so it's pretty nice. We get a little bit of hinge action there, and then it does spin around, and it's pretty awesome. You could unplug it with no problem at all, stick it back in there, and yeah, this is cool, man. On top of the fact that he comes with 3 different cape like configurations, it gives you some extra versatility because all of them are articulated. So that's good stuff. But let's go ahead and remove this for the articulation segment here. So now moving on to the head and the neck area, he does have movement at the lower neck and at the upper neck. Using both of those, we get some really nice tilt action. Always love to see that. And then he could look side to side. He could look down to about right there, which is really good. And then he could look up to about right there before it puts any pressure on that back piece. So, you know, that's really good. So good stuff at the head and the neck area. I always like what we have going on in this area on Mafex figures. And then for the torso, he does have a diaphragm ball joint and a ball joint at the waist. Using both of those, he's able to crunch forward a really nice amount. Look at that. That definitely works. Then it could, oh, if you go too far back, it can pop apart, but no problem at all. Goes back to about right there, which is pretty crazy. And then we get some nice like side to side. He can swivel on the ball joint. He can also swivel at the diaphragm. It does break up the logo, the emblem on the chest a little bit. So be mindful of that. But yeah, really good stuff at the torso. Like I always say, this type of torso definitely gives you a lot of dynamic options. And then for the shoulders, he does have, the standard Mafex butterfly shoulder joint. And you could get the shoulders to go back to about right there before they apply any pressure to the back piece. So that's pretty good range there. So if you want to get them like cocking back, ready to punch someone or whatever, you definitely do that. And they're able to go in front of them a really good amount too. Look at that. Bam. Like I always say, Mafex does a great job. Oops, what am I doing? Mafex does a great job when it comes to shoulders. Get him into some boxing poses. There we go. That's a little better. You could get some nice punching poses out of this shoulder setup. Yeah, so that's nice. Good stuff here with the butterfly joints. And then the arms are able to go all the way around. And you can bring his arms up to about right there, which is really good. He has upper bicep swivel. I got them all jacked up, huh? Let me situate Miguel here. So yeah, he has upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbows that get a crazy bend. He has ball joints at the wrist that have a hinge, so you could swivel that around, do whatever you need to do. You could swivel on the hand. And then for the legs, he has drop down hips. Whoa, they drop down a nice amount, and you could bring his leg forward a crazy amount. Look at that, bam. That's awesome right there. You can bring his leg out to the side to about right there. Yeah, so that's good. The legs can go back a pretty good amount. He does have, man, it seems like they've improved quite a bit on their upper thigh swivel. I mentioned on the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man review that it feels like Mafex is trying to get better and better with their articulation, which is crazy because they already do articulation at such a high level. But yeah, even with Miguel here, like you could see some improvements. I thought the torso was a little bit better than like on the classic Spider-Man, and then the upper thigh is really nice too. So good stuff there. And like I said, he does have drop down hips that work really well. Look at that. Really good stuff. He has double jointed knees that get a good bend. He has ball joints at the ankle that rotate. Could hinge forward to there, hinge forward to there. Got rocking ankle foot action. And then he does have toe hinge. So yeah, man, really great articulation. No surprise though, Mafex always has really great articulation. But man, it just feels so good to finally have a Spider-Man 2099 that's super fun to play with, that looks amazing, that you could get into all kinds of cool poses without having to worry about damaging it, and just have a good time playing around with it, man. I've been wanting a Miguel O'Hara like this for a very long time, and I'm just super happy with the articulation, posability, and fun factor. Once again, Mafex absolutely killed it in this department. Alrighty, so overall, at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, the dust settles, and it's all said and done, as somebody that's always wanted a super articulated, fun to play with, good-looking Spider-Man 2099, I'm extremely satisfied and very happy with the way this figure turned out. Once again, I think that Mafex absolutely killed it on a Spider-Man figure. At this point, they pretty much mastered it, and they just make the best Spider-Man figures available, to be honest with you. Almost every single one of them has been amazing, and Spider-Man 2099 is going to go down as one of my favorites because of how much I wanted a Spidey 2099 from them. Ever since the very first Spider-Man figure they made, I was saying they should do this version, and I'm so happy they finally got around to it. They did not disappoint. This figure came out awesome. I love the way he looks. They did an incredible job with the paint. It's also crisp and clean and well applied. I love the way the red pops against the dark blue. I think they did a great job with the cape. I like how there's 3 different options. Like the 3 interchangeable pieces are very cool, but I also love that like each piece is articulated. You could do all kinds of different things. I feel like they handled the cape in a very creative way. And it does seem like his cape is kind of complicated to incorporate into action figure form. With Mezco, they just kind of used cloth, and that's cool and everything. For the Marvel Legends one, they, just had a web piece that plugged into the back, and that was okay. But none of those were as creative and as interesting as what Mafex did here. And as far as like the other accessories, I do think he comes with some great stuff. I like all the different hands, the 3 heads. It would have been nice if he came with the fully unmasked Miguel O'Hara head, or a head that had like some fangs, maybe like an angry facial expression. But I do like that half mask. That is very cool. Once again, like I said, with the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, it would be cool if they'd update the webs a little bit and just kind of give us something a little bit more interesting when it comes to webs, because they kind of been using the same types of webs for a lot of their Spider-Man figures. But aside from that, I have no complaints with the accessories. As far as the articulation goes, which is my main draw here, I think they absolutely killed it, like they always do. Super fun to play with, very posable. You could get him into all kinds of different dynamic positions, and it's just one of those hand-friendly types of figures, As I said, I do feel like they're improving on their articulation, which is very impressive because they were already doing so good with it from the jump. So yeah, man, once again, Mafex did a fantastic job on this guy. Oh, for accessories, it would have also been cool if they included like Lila, the AI piece. That would have been dope. Mezco had a really cool like AI Lila that could attach to Spidey's arm. That would have been nice to have here. But, aside from that, the accessories are cool. But yeah, man, this thing is incredible. I'm so happy with it. It's probably going to go down as a top 10 figure of the year for me personally, because of how much I wanted this version of Spider-Man. So yeah, super satisfied, super excited, and I'm just hyped up to finally have this version of Spider-Man in this form. It's such a good figure. And with that, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Also, be sure to hit the bell notification so you know every time that I go live. Thank you very much. Peace.